So we have already completed the lesson regarding the Great Indian Desert, and it is now time for us to do the activity part of this particular lesson. Okay. So the activity starts with a fill in the blanks question. See, five sentences are given there. And every sentence has a blank also. Okay. There are five sentences with a blank each, and we need to read this sentence one by one. Check with what we have learned regarding the same in the lesson, and based on what we have learned in the lesson, we need to complete these blanks. Right? That's a task. What should we do? We need to read these sentences. So there are five sentences here, isn't it? There are five sentences here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we need to read these sentences one by one and check regarding what we have learned about this particular blanks which are mentioned there. Okay? We need to check with what we have learned regarding that blanks, and with the options, we need to complete those blanks. So the first question is, the Thar Desert is in the state of dash. So which was the state that we were basically dealing with when we were talking about the Great Indian Desert or the Thar Desert? It was Rajasthan, isn't it? Yes, almost all, the entire Rajasthan is now the Thar Desert. It extends from the Kutch region in Gujarat till the Haryana, the state of Haryana, isn't it? Yes. So, the state that was in which we have Thar Desert, or the major portion of the Thar Desert or the Great Indian Desert, is in Rajasthan, right? Second one, in Rajasthan, mostly people live near dash and grow crops there. So, is it possible to grow crops in Rajasthan or in Thar Desert? No. Why? The soil is a sandy soil. It's not fertile soil. Then, there are no irrigation facilities. There are no water facilities also, isn't it? So there are some areas where they can find some water and some fertile soil also there around it, and we can see some human settlements around those regions is what we have learned, isn't it? So the area which provides some amount of water and which support cultivation of crops is called oasis, isn't it? So in desert, mostly people live near an oasis and grow crops there. Okay, so oasis is that place in a forest where we can find water. Third, the only river that flows in Rajasthan is Luni. Luni is the name of the river that flows through Rajasthan. Our desert receives a dash rainfall. What kind of rainfall? Heavy rainfall, moderate rainfall, slight rainfall, or a very little rainfall. What kind of rainfall does the desert regions receive? Yes, desert regions receive very little rainfall. What kind of rainfall is received in desert region? Very little rainfall, right? Now, in deserts, dash are common during the summer season. Hot sand winds, isn't it? So what do we call that? Dust storm, right? So what do you mean by a dust storm? The hot winds, heavy winds, which carry a large amount of sand from one place to other, is called dust storms, isn't it? Yeah. So in deserts, dust storms are common during the summer season. Now, shall we check the answers? Yes. See, the Thar Desert is in the state of Rajasthan. The Thar Desert is in the state of Rajasthan. In deserts, mostly people live near an oasis to grow crops there. Okay. Next, the only river that flows in Rajasthan is Luni. Luni is the river that flows through Rajasthan. A desert receives dash rainfall, very little rainfall. Then in deserts, dash are common during the summer season. Dust storms are common during the summer season. Right? So these are the five sentences and the blanks. We have completed them. Now I'll keep the screen the same for another minute for you so that you can read these 5 sentences once again. Okay? Now the second one. So write T for true and F for false. Right? True or false. 1. The Great Indian Desert is also known as the Thar Desert. So the Great Indian Desert is also known as the Thar Desert. It's a true statement. It's a true statement. Why? Because both are the same. The Thar Desert is also known as the Great Indian Desert, or the Great Indian Desert is also known as the Thar Desert. Right? The climate of a desert is very cold in every season. When does the climate of a desert change into very cold? During night time, isn't it? Not throughout any season, but during day it's very hot and during night it's very cold. Extreme hot temperature during the daytime and extreme cold temperature during the night time is a speciality of a deserts, right? Okay. 3. Deserts have scarcity of water. Deserts have scarcity of water. It's a true statement, isn't it? The answer is true. Why? It never rains much in the deserts. There are no definite water sources in deserts. Right? So the deserts have a scarcity of water. Horse is the most useful animal in a desert. While dealing with the Thar Desert, we have dealt about an animal also. What was that animal? Yeah, this particular animal which has got the padded paws, flat legs, which can easily walk on the sand without sinking its leg into the sand. It can live for weeks without drinking water or taking food. What was that animal? Camel, isn't it? Was it horse? It was not a horse, but it was a camel. So camel is the most useful animal in a desert and not a horse. So this answer is a false. It's a false statement. Udaipur is called the city of lakes. True. There are a lot of lakes there in Udaipur, by which it's also called the city of lakes. So that's a true statement. Okay. So the Great Indian Desert is also known as the Thar Desert is a true statement. Then the climate of a desert is very cold in every season is a false statement because it's cold only during the night time. Deserts have scarcity of water is a true statement. Horse is the most useful animal in a desert is a false statement because horse is of no use, but camels are the most useful animal. Udaipur is also called the city of lakes is a true statement because there are a lot of lakes there in Udaipur. Right? So that is a true and false section. I will keep the screen the same for another minute so that it can be useful for you to read these questions, the statements and the answers once again. Right?